And I think here is the answer. So here's your over people amendment. And it's still a little bit, let's say, restrictive, I guess. The ability to fly over people depends on the type of drone it is and what kind of quote unquote category it falls into. So any drones smaller than 0.55, that's that important number again, right? So or less than 250 grams. Do not contain and do not contain exposed rotating parts that could lacerate human skin upon contact. Operations in sustained flights over open air assemblies and human must be voluntarily complied with. Anyways, yeah, that's essentially what that's saying is if you have a very, very small drone that's less than 250 grams, you can fly over people as long as you have what are known as prop guards or little, that's what you're supposed to do. Or the other way that I'm interpreting this is that the props are not strong enough to lacerate someone's skin, meaning that they don't, they won't cut you. So to me, there's some interpretation there. It really is. And, these are brand new as well, amendments. Frankly, I'm not personally a fan of those little prop guard things because they just are awkward. And so, yeah, I'm telling you what the rules are. I'm giving you kind of some anecdotal feedback of my opinion. For a drone that small with blades that are, an inch in size, I can't see how they would lacerate a human skin if it fell from the sky or something like that upon impact. I think that's up for debate, honestly. If you're answering the questions, on the test, go by these. Don't go by my opinions. Go by the language here. Okay, so then there's a second category. Let's see, cause injury to human beings equivalent or greater than the severity of injury caused to transfer 11 foot-pounds of kinetic energy, equivalent to the greater skin, 25 foot-pounds of kinetic energy. Basically 2 and 3, manufacturers will certify the drones built on an FAA approved standard over people. Yeah, so those are like kind of future considerations for really any drones bigger than, like I said, or 250 grams or bigger. And so again, 0.55 pounds. And so it's kind of the FAA is leaving it up to the manufacturer to prove that if they fly over, if they make contact with people, that it's going to not transfer, it's not going to cause this amount of damage, 11 foot-pounds of kinetic energy. This stuff is still very new, and a lot of it's being kind of worked out. I would basically leave it up to this in terms of judgment. If you have a drone that's 250 grams or 0.55 pounds or bigger, you're really not supposed to be flying over people. Okay, that's my interpretation. And the last one is about part 21, which is a delivery drones consideration. So that's like Amazon's problem to worry about. Okay. Over vehicles and at nighttime amendments. So small unmanned aircraft must remain within or over a closed restricted access site for all people inside a moving vehicle. Small unmanned fly over them. Let me start over. There's a lot of words here. Small unmanned aircraft must remain within or over a closed or restricted access site. And all people inside the moving vehicle within the closed or restricted access site must be on notice that a small aircraft lives. So basically that's saying, if you're flying over vehicles, they should know about it. Let's see, the smaller does not maintain sustained flight over moving vehicles. So like if you're flying directly over the same moving vehicles all the time, those people should know about it. If it's scanning over moving vehicles and the people are inside the vehicles and they're protected, this amendment is saying it's okay to fly over vehicles. Okay. Again, if it's not in a maintained, in a sustained flight operation, right? But again, these are still kind of gray areas. That doesn't mean fly over a busy highway. That would obviously cause some friction, even if it's done safely. Yeah. Anyways, let's keep going. Remote piloting command must complete updated initial knowledge test. So there is an updated training and test for, saying that I understand these new amendments. For the nighttime thing, aircraft must have lighted anti-collision lights visible for at least 3 miles, and that they have a flash rate sufficient enough to avoid collision. So again, being new, I think this is something that the FAA is trying to force upon manufacturers so that they build their hardware to conform to these standards. So lights that are built in, that are visible enough to be seen from 3 miles away if you're flying at night, then it's okay. Otherwise, you can install some aftermarket, modification lights to drones, and there's a market for that.